Hey y'all, it is I, Anthony the Canadian Guy, and welcome to Wrestlesode. Today, we're going to have a special treat. We're going to be talking with the owner of RK Athletics. That's right, one of the sponsors here of today's stream. One Rich King, professional wrestler, guy sculpted like a piece of clay. The guy is in very good shape, let's just say that much, because he runs RK Athletics. We are speaking with Rich King. If you listened to last week's episode, you'll know that Blake Cannon and Rich King started training on the exact same week in the same place, so we continued off of that today. We got to learn what it was like to train with somebody as horrible as Blake Cannon. We asked about his life in wrestling and what he loves about wrestling and what he wants to do, as well as we also talked about his side business and what he does with RK Athletics and how he's helping people get nice and fit. So if that's something that you're interested in, remember to talk to RK Athletics. But yeah, anyways, if you guys are watching this today on Tuesday, April the 12th, just know that tonight at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, we're going to be going live on Twitch over at twitch.tv/Jupiter Division to speak with the RCW Canadian Heavyweight Champion, the newly crowned Canadian RCW Canadian Heavyweight Champion, I should say, Mars the Specialist. That's going to be a really fun chat, so if you're going to be around tonight, remember to go to twitch.tv/Jupiter Division for 8 p.m. Mountain Time. And that's where that's going to be happening. But that's enough of that for today. We're going to be, once again, speaking with Rich King. So let's just get straight into that. See you there. Welcome, buddy. I'm super excited for this because, honestly, this is one of the first real chats that we're going to have. We've had very minor encounters, like talking in person like once or twice and a couple of messages here and there. But this is the first time we've really had a chance to sit down and talk. And I've got a ton of questions for you because, honestly, you're a super interesting guy. And I'm really excited for this. So first up, Rich King. This is the first one that I got asked, and this is the friend I want to start with. Is that like a real name, or is that just like a really good like kayfabe name? Like, do you know what I mean? Because it's one of those names that could be totally real, but also sounds at the same time. It's like, I'm not sure.
You know what? I'll leave that to your imagination because I will not tell whether that is my real name or my false name. It is a name.
There you guys go. Well, that's what you will be referred to then. Everybody can go
as
with Rich
Shakespeare
King.
said, a rose by any other name is still a rose.
There you go. Perfect. So how did it all start with you in the world of wrestling? And we're going to start there because there's like tons of different topics to start with. But wrestling, let's start with. What made you fall in love with wrestling?
Well, actually, I have a place to start first, Anthony.
Sure.
Is the complete and utter disrespect of myself. See, you decided to have the dad bods and Blake Cannon on before me.
Mm-hmm. That's very true.
And I have the CWE junior heavyweight title, and I have the BEW tag team title.
Very true.
And I don't see them with two titles, you know?
That's very true. I can give you a good reason for that. I had to work up to you. So you know what I mean?
I thought I was your favorite wrestler.
You know, as I have to work up to you, right? Because, you know, I have to start with the lower ranked guys, you know what I mean? Get the rust off, and then I could properly give you the respect that you deserve once I get all the kinks I worked out with them.
Yeah. Good answer. I can appreciate that.
So how about the world of wrestling, though? So obviously you love wrestling. You've been doing it now for a little while. I was told last week by Blake Cannon that you guys actually started training on the same day. So how did it get to that point? What made you fall in love with wrestling to begin with?
God, this is a long story, but basically it started when I was 8 years old. Me and a friend somehow stumbled upon some Stone Cold tapes, or we were watching Raw, or something happened. We were playing Warzone on the original PlayStation there, and we just kind of fell in love with wrestling. Next thing you know, I was watching all of Stone Cold's matches. I absolutely hated The Rock. And it was kind of just the rest just fell into place. I was watching basically my entire life. Growing up in the Yukon, you know, you're kind of isolated. There's not a lot of opportunity to even see this kind of stuff. So being able to go down to like BC and see an actual like WWF show was like an amazing part of my life that just like stuck with me forever. And then there was a long period of time where I just completely fell out of wrestling. It wasn't an interest of mine. You know, throughout high school and elementary school, it was all I could dream of being is a professional wrestler. But as soon as some circumstances happened, I dropped out, and I was completely out of it until about 2016 when WWE came to town.
Awesome. Was there anything in specific in the world of wrestling that was going on where when you dropped it, you were like, okay, this is just, I don't really care about this anymore? Or
well,
was
it kind of happened around the time the Chris Benoit incident happened. Chris Benoit happened to be one of the guys I looked up to the most, being an undersized guy from Alberta. And then obviously the tragedy that is that whole circumstance happened. Right. And it really, and like from there, I kind of just kept falling out of it. You know, the people that I grew up really liking, moved on to different careers. Austin was gone, Rock was gone. Cena was kind of lame at that point too. I wasn't totally into CM Punk until a couple of years later. Brock Lesnar was gone. So there's a lot of flux of talent that I grew up watching. A guy like Jericho was gone. There's just so many people that I enjoyed watching that weren't part of the product, and I just wasn't really behind anybody. Like, I've always kind of kept track of what was happening. I would read like the Raw report or whatever it was, just to see like who's doing what and what things are happening. I'd watch kind of major shows, but I wasn't really invested at all. I was more into the UFC at that point in my life, and I had other things on the mind, like chasing girls, going through college, all that fun stuff.
Oh, that makes tons of sense. What brought you back into the world of wrestling? Was there like one specific thing you're like, oh, I just saw it on YouTube, or my friend told me to check this out, and suddenly I was immediately hooked again?
Well, every now and then there would be something that caught my attention. The CM Punk pipe bomb, Brock Lesnar coming back. I'd hear about the Shield. AJ Styles coming to the WWE was a big one as well. But realistically, all that really got me into was me and a couple friends. We finally went to a WWE show here in Edmonton. And just had a blast. Like, ended up watching a bunch of Raws leading up to it just to understand and know what's going on and who these people actually were. And yeah, it was just a lot of catching up. And then I watched the show, kind of got that spark again. I watched for another year and a bit. And then next thing you know, January 2018, I enroll in a training camp. And next thing you know, 4 years later, I'm still rocking and rolling at a high level here. So
that's amazing. So
Alberta, I should say.
Absolutely. Well, exactly. As best as we can get for right now, but hopefully that can pick up. I'm really excited for once hopefully all this passes up. I'm really excited to see more local shows starting up. There's a lot of really exciting things that are going to be happening in the world of Alberta in terms of wrestling, but I think there's just a lot of people kind of waiting at this point. They're just waiting for things to clear up a bit. So what made you go from like, okay, I like wrestling, I'm watching it again, I had a really cool live event experience with my friends, I'm going to go train. Like, what was that switch like in your head?
Basically, it was, again, January 2018, so it was kind of spur of the moment. I was driving down to Lethbridge from Sherwood Park, which is a long-ass drive. And I'd kind of cycle between music, podcasts, and I was just listening to a podcast, ENC actually, I remember exactly which one. It was the one with Corey Graves. And they were just talking about like driving up and down the road and kind of the camaraderie with it all. And just like, you can tell that they're passionate about wrestling. So I was driving down there. I was going to support a former girlfriend. Her grandfather passed away. So just a lot of reflection points and that side of things. And I thought to myself, like, I might be a little bit older to get into it, but it would be a regret not to jump in. It would be a regret not to do this kind of thing and at least try it. It's something that I dreamed of doing as a kid. I'm physically in shape. I have a willing and able body, and why not just give it a shot? I had all the time in the world to do so. I had I was in a good financial circumstance, so I figured, what the hell, let's just fucking do this. And yeah, rocked and rolled. Signed up for the camp, and away I went.
Were you addicted like from your first day in the ring, or did it take a couple of weeks of bumps for you to go like, okay, I finally enjoy this, or this just really hurts?
That first day, I fucking hated it. I was actually like really surprised how much, like, because again, growing up watching all this stuff, you know what goes into it, but you don't really know until you get in there. And there's just a lot of minutia that I just wasn't used to, and there's just a lot of little things that I just didn't really understand, especially on day one. So it was really frustrating for me because, again, this whole time I'm thinking I'd be an ace at this, and next thing you know, it's like, you are dog shit. So it took some time. It definitely took a couple reps, a little bit of practice, but I'm a quick learner, especially with physical activities. Like, I've been an athlete my entire life. So once I kind of got little pieces down, I was able to pick up new pieces very, very quickly and able to progress, I'd say, at a pretty decent level.
Absolutely. Do you have a moment where you kind of felt like, all right, this feels natural to me now, like I'm a wrestler, like this was the moment? No.
Again, as soon as I got out there for my first match, it was like, in my mind, I was a wrestler, right? That's what I was doing. but I wouldn't say there's like one specific time I was like, yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing, or like anything like that. It just kind of flowed. Once it just kind of flows, you stop thinking about all the things, and really that's what it was just stop overthinking a lot of things and just go with it. Because naturally, again, to toot my own horn, I've been an athlete my whole life. I'm pretty gifted. Like, I'm pretty well versed. I'm not going to say gifted by any means. I'm pretty well versed in the athletic side of things, so I can get that side down. But there's little things here and there that I continue to pick up, and even to this day, like, again, it's just constantly learning. Every single match is a learning curve. So it's like, yes, you did this one great, but guess what? You forgot about this, this, and this. So it's like every single time you step in the ring, it's really an opportunity to learn.
Do you have a favorite match that you've put on to this date, or maybe one that you felt like you've learned the most in?
I have a lot of favorite matches, to be honest. Like, a lot of what I've done with like Mitch Clark, with Lumberjack Larry, with T.Y. Jackson, those three I've probably had some of my favorite matches. Some of the most fun. Like, again, we're pretty tight, so those guys are pretty. We have good chemistry, and we just kind of know how each other move. We've practiced together quite a bit. One of my first favorite matches was against, as much as I hate to say it, against Nasty Nate Nixon. It was a really fun match, and it was one of the ones that I feel like things just really started to click. And even Phil LaFawn, one of the guys that trained me, former WWF star, former New Japan star, like all of this like notable guy,
Right.
gave us tons of props for the match. So I was really proud of that one. Recently, I was able to step in the ring with Heavy Metals, and that match was really fun. There's just so many matches that I look at, and it's hard to pinpoint one favorite. Like, yeah, but between all those people I just mentioned, those were some of my favorite matches, I guess, that I've had thus far in my career.
For sure. Well, looking forward into your career, like you said, you didn't get into this at the earliest of age, but you are in peak physical condition. I mean, anybody could look at you and be like, yeah, you're fine. It doesn't really matter that you started a little bit later in life. What do you want to do in the world of wrestling? Do you have goals and ambitions? Like, is there a match you want to have, or a company that you want to work for?
Honestly, I want to try to get out and see how far I can take this for as long as I can. As long as I'm physically able to, as long as I'm still having fun. I want to go as far as I can in this industry. So like right now, my big thing is I want to get out to BC. They have a lot of great opportunities out there in BC that I want to touch on and want to try to get into that opportunity. I'd love to travel a little bit more in Alberta here, even getting down to Calgary a couple more times to get a little bit more well established down there. Going down and seeing the Lethbridge guys is always another thing that I want to get back to. Started to get into Saskatchewan a little bit after the pandemic and everything. So last summer started getting into Saskatchewan a little bit more, just broke into Winnipeg a couple months ago. So like starting to expand a little bit more. I wouldn't say there's necessarily like one match that I'm looking for. I'm just looking to continuously work with people, learn more, and just show people that I am one of the best out there, and that even if I'm not better than somebody that they face, I can grow and be that individual. Like I have that in my mind that I can be the absolute best. It's just about putting that next step forward.
Absolutely. Well, you've got a great mindset for it. We can kind of pull this back a little bit here, because not only do you wrestle, but you also run RK Athletics, and you do a great job as a fitness coach. I mean, I've been kind of jealous of the fact that I'm in a small little town east of Calgary and you're all the way up in Edmonton. I've made that clear on Twitter so many times. I'm just jealous that you're up there. What kind of made you kind of like get into the world of fitness to begin with? Because like you said, you've always been athletically gifted, and like you just flexed right there, and I'm sure you just made 99% of the audience super jealous. So like, what made you go from like, all right, I'm a kid, but now I'm really super into fitness, I really like sports? Was there a specific sport that you got into? Like, how did that work?
High school was all about basketball for me. I stopped growing at 5'7", so I didn't really go anywhere. So, but my grade 12 year, I ended up coaching a grade 8 basketball team, and I just really fell in love with the coaching process. So just teaching people and showing the growth and seeing the growth, I should say, from people was really rewarding for me personally, just to help people get to that next level and kind of push people and see that potential when they're going. So it was pretty awesome to see. that side of things. So when I went to college, I ended up going for business. So again, it kind of helped in the long run, but at the
Right.
time, it didn't do shit for me. Um, and again, wrestling is a business, so you also have to know these types of things to help market yourself, to advertise for yourself, and to figure out the financial side of things. But yeah, after that, I ended up going into kinesiology. Did my 2 years down in RDC, and then after that, I jumped into the workforce to make money and see where the world took me.
So what? So did you start then, like working as a coach, like full time for another company before you started working for yourself? Like, how did you
Yeah, I
start
was
working in
working
that?
for a company for about 10 years prior to the pandemic. So last, I think March it was, I got fired from my other position as general manager. And then basically after a month of sitting around and just trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my life besides wrestling, I decided to open up my own company. I have the knowledge, I have the smarts, and I think I have the ambition to actually make good money on my own. And I proved myself right. So far, it's been pretty freaking fantastic.
I mean, you do a fantastic job of uploading constantly to your social medias, different videos that are inspiring, or be it from like your kind of goofier ones a couple of months ago with your the flavor of the protein powders changing, to it being some of your like some of your clients doing some amazing things in their fitness goals, or even just you doing like, just showing your own workouts and the things that you do. It's never easy to do. Like, what continuously inspires you to want to put content out there? Because I know as a content creator, it's never always easy to just do it every day.
It's simply just marketing. It's my job. It's what I need to do. If I want people to discover me, if I want people to know about me, I need to put out content. Like again, I always strive to be the best at what I do, whether that's in wrestling, whether that's in the fitness world, whether that's as a trainer, whether that's in my own personal fitness goals, right? So it's continuously just trying to be better than I was before. And so it's really not a struggle for me to get excited about content. Actually, sometimes I find myself having to pull myself back because it's just so much cool stuff in fitness, and again, so many fun ideas when it comes to wrestling that I just want to put pen to paper and just go. So for the marketing side of things, it's not hard to get this stuff together. It's just another part of the job that I need to do to make money, to have financial freedom, so I can go travel and I can go wrestling and I can help more and more people see their fitness goals come true. So it really works hand in hand together. So it's really not that big of a struggle.
Are you taking in new clients right now? Are you looking actively for some more clients?
Oh, absolutely. I'm always interested in taking on more clients. I haven't reached the point where I've burnt out or anything like that, so I'm going to keep going along that way until I feel burnt out or I feel overwhelmed with the load. But yeah, I end up doing in-person training and I do online training too. So it's perfect for wrestling because again, when I'm away, I can actually utilize the online training side of things a lot more. When I'm in town, I can keep up with my in-person clients a lot easier. I prefer in-person. It's just my bread and butter. It's what I'm best at. But the online side of things, I feel like I'm starting to get a little bit better hang of it.
Yeah, I would always say, honestly, because when I went through my fitness journey, it was really helpful to have a coach at the time. You're very inspiring people, and they're always like keeping you motivated. And especially when you're like, I don't want to do it for myself, but I know if I don't, I'll probably let them down. So I still want to do it.
One of the best parts of having a coach is accountability.
Well, like while we're saying that here, you got an email if anybody's interested in contacting you. They just want to say that quickly if people are listening.
Yeah, for sure. If anybody's ever interested, check it out. My email is rich@rkathletics.ca. You can visit a website, www.rkathletics.ca as well.
Fantastic. Perfect. There you guys go. All right. Now, I want to go back to a little bit to your championship right now, right? So you said you
Yes.
are the BEW Tag Team Champion as well as the CWE Junior Heavyweight Champion. Let's talk a little bit about that. Who is your tag team partner for the BEW Tag Team Championships?
For BEW Tag Team Championships, I am paired with Lumberjack Luke, the one and only, very closely related to Lumberjack Larry. We form a team called Northern Impact. And yeah, we've been dominating the BEW tag team scene since last summer.
Who did you win that championship off of?
It was a vacant title at the time, but we beat the Savages, Danny Evans and Stu Cool for that one.
Awesome. And then as well, you're also the CWE Junior Heavyweight Champion. Now, talk to us a little bit about that one because I know that one was a little bit more recently. You won that one, correct?
Nope.
No?
I actually won that one. I think before I actually won the BEW Tag Team
And,
Championship.
and,
So
who, and how did you win that one? What was that one like?
that one I was in Winnipeg for that one. We did a pay-per-view and then we did some TV tapings, and I beat Josh Cheeks Holiday for that one.
That's awesome. So, are you
He
still?
clean, didn't have to cheat at all.
Is CWE still running through Alberta right now? I'm not sure if they are at this point. I'm not. I'm
I
just.
was just up in Grand Prairie a few days, probably 2 weeks ago for CWE.
Perfect.
So
All right,
we're
that's
still
great.
running, but not as prominently in Alberta anymore.
That's totally.
For
I
now.
totally understand. Because I live in a small town east of Calgary. I'm in one of those like it's just hard to get to anywhere places for me. All right.
Get up to Grand Prairie, that's for sure.
Well, I did make it up to the Edmonton show where you were facing Lumberjack Larry. It was an MPW show at the time. I know you're wrestling now for RCW, mostly up in Edmonton these days, correct?
That's absolutely correct.
Do you have any upcoming matches coming up?
I have one this coming Saturday. Yeah.
Fant-
I'm not sure what it is quite yet, but I know that it's coming up.
All right. Well, where can they see you this Saturday? Where in Edmonton is it?
The Norwood Legion in Edmonton, Alberta. You can just Google that one, or you can DM me directly, and I can give you more information about any one of the RCW shows. This week is going to be the PCO shows. So we have PCO on all three RCW events. They'll be in Medicine Hat, Calgary, and I will be on the Edmonton show. So that's the one to be at.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think we're going to start moving here into the question and answer period here in just a moment. I'm pretty sure we'll get some messages coming through. And
Hope there's some good fucking questions.
There's been a bunch that have come through. I'm quite excited to see what some of these questions are.
If there's any that seem a little suspect, it's T.Y. fucking Jackson, and he can go blow himself.
Oh, is that what it is? Well, I know we've also got some questions here. We got some from our good friend Shout. We have one here from James Crowder, which I'm looking forward to as well, because it's actually a question. You're like, oh, God, that guy. All right, so here's the first question. When you wrestle, do people ever yell things about Jimmy King from the 2000s all-time classic Ready to Rumble, which stars Sting?
I don't think it's Star Sting.
Well,
it.
yeah, well, that's just how it was questioned.
Really
Actually, it says
Goldberg has a
Sting.
better role in that. I think Goldberg said more words in Ready to Rumble than he did his entire WCW career.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
No, never associated with it. However, I do a mean double axe handle off the ropes, so that might be a slight ode to the king.
You're crowning a lot of people at the end of the day.
I will rule you.
Oh, great. I love that movie. That's so good. Here's another question here. Did you consider taking up MMA during the period when you were on a cool down from wrestling?
Yep, absolutely. It was something that I was actively looking to get into. However, being in the Yukon, there is not much up there. So trying to get into MMA was pretty impossible at the time. And it was always something that I just kept putting off, and then eventually just never happened. So basically everything I know about grappling, I was in amateur wrestling through elementary school and a little bit into high school. Again, we don't have middle school up there, so but that was about the extent of it. So
That's
it was
actually
a dream, didn't make it.
That's a good question because how did you go from the Yukon all the way over to Edmonton? Like, what was that transition for you? Like, was it for college or?
I mean, typically you drive down, so it's not that hard of a transition.
I meant permanently because you said you were in the Yukon. Did you come down for college permanently or?
Yes, I moved down from college, so it's a little bit secluded up there, as I've been mentioning. Beautiful place. I recommend anybody go visit. But for me, my life was going to be down here.
Totally understandable. All right, now this was the question here from James Crowder coming up next. What is your protein powder of choice?
The one that's in my container.
The one that you're currently consuming.
The one that magically stays full for all of my promos.
So I know this is going to be a hard question to answer because I know it's specific to different people.
Well, to answer that question, actually, right now I really like Rule 1 protein powder. It's a little bit more affordable. It has a good protein content. So it mixes well with chocolate milk, which is my jam.
That's what you like. I was just curious because, like, I know it's different for each person, but are you more of a whey protein or a creatine kind of person?
Well, creatine's not protein, number one, my man.
No.
I think you're meaning casein.
I'm sorry, casein. Yes, sorry.
So
It's
whey
been months
protein
for me.
I prefer whey protein because it's quicker absorbing. It's a little bit uh, easier to break down for the body. However, casein protein is something that I've taken many times, and when I'm doing a little bit more of a bulk, which I am right now, I'll have a casein shake most nights before bed. So
Because it's the one that digests slower, so it's better for like before beds and digesting slowly.
yeah, it
over time,
digests
right?
over kind of like a 5 to 8 hour range. So it's kind of perfect for pre-sleep essentially,
Awesome. Maybe
or
that's what
long trips.
for sure, of course. All right, here's a good question. If you could wrestle anybody in the industry today, who would you want to wrestle?
Like in Alberta or
In the industry, so I assume that can be anywhere.
okay. Like a never-ending list of people. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Like guys like AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Johnny Gargano, Adam Cole. Actually, it's kind of funny when you say those things. It's always like, oh, like a guy like Daniel Bryan would be so much fun. But then you watch a Daniel Bryan match and he just beats the piss out of people. You're like, do I really want to go in the ring with that guy? It's like, well, kind of. But again, those people are just ones that, you would love to get in the ring with just to learn, just to see how bad you actually are compared to some of these top tier talents, and just allow yourself to get to that kind of next level.
That's a really great answer. And I probably agree with you entirely. The same reason I haven't stepped in a ring even for training at this point is because I'm just afraid you can just piss beat out of me. Do you get intimidated in the ring at all when you're against much taller opponents?
No,
No, not at all. It's just another person for you to step on.
Size doesn't intimidate me. And wrestling, again, some of your best matches will come against some of the taller guys.
And actually, I think this is a great answer for me when it comes to people like Brock Lesnar, because I think some of his favorite matches, or my favorite matches of his, would always been against some of the smaller guys compared to him, like AJ Styles or Finn Balor. That's great.
Now, Brock would probably be on there if he just didn't suplex the shit out of everybody. So
If you wanted to walk out with a straight spine after your match,
if I wanted to walk out with a functioning neck, I mean, it barely works as it is. So.
Oh, I like this one here. Do you have any smack to talk about any other wrestlers right now? In specific, like, do you want to call out anybody?
How much time do you have?
I guess as much time as you need, man. Go for it.
I can call out almost everybody in Alberta wrestling. Like T.Y. Jackson is one of the biggest simps I've ever met. Grandpa Conte is like one of the biggest D-bags I've ever met. I would stretch that guy if he wasn't so fucking good in the ring.
Awesome.
I mean, then there's the dad bods who just think they're top shit all the time. You have Blake Cannon with his sister walking in every time he's gonna look at videos on the internet. Like it's crazy, man. It's gong show. So I could call out almost all of Alberta wrestling here, but I'll save that for the right time and place when I'm matched up against these people.
Great reference, by the way. Good call back to last week. Oh, here's a fun one.
I'm sure it's not the first time he's yelled, "Get out of my room!
Get out of my room! I'm on the camera. I'm on with the interview with people.
I'm vacuuming my room, Mom."
I told you to stay out of my room. All right. Will you train me in a boot camp for wrestling? Is a question that was asked.
In a boot camp for wrestling?
Yeah, like a 2-day boot camp. Would you kick my ass for 2 days?
I probably wouldn't be the best teacher initially, but I would give it a good try. You'll learn more from teaching than you do just from doing. So.
Absolutely. For me, I've always wanted to try one of those boot camps, but I've got a bent spine, and I've always been like, I'm worried, but that's just me being a baby, really. I should just get it done and say I've done it in my life.
I'd do it. It would be fun.
Here's a question from one Mike the Ref. How was it like losing to Chris Parrish on a repeated basis in RCW?
I lost to Chris Parrish once. It was bullshit. He cheated, number one, as he always does. But yeah, I pinned Chris Parrish in my first night there. Like I don't know what he's talking about.
He's just he's always around trying to cause grief, this guy.
Bastard. I thought we were friends.
If that's where he's always like that. He's always like, oh, I'm going to be friends with you, but then he's going to be kind of a dick. All right, here's a fun one. Rank the kings. Rich, B, or Sausage? For Rich King, B King, or Sausage King. I don't know who asked that question, but they want you to rank those, which I assume you to be Rich at the top.
Rich at the very top. Then there's, I believe, a King B down here. Oh, actually, let's stand up. It's about here.
Way there, right there.
Right by the groin area. And then, I don't know, I like sausage, but I don't know who the sausage
Oh, that's
is.
James Crowder. He's the Sausage King. So maybe he might even go even lower than
yeah,
that.
he's 6 feet under.
Oh, there you go. All right, dude, thank you so much for joining me here today. This was really fun, and this was like great getting to know you and learning about this. Seriously, so in terms of people getting to know you and where they can find you, like, plug all your stuff right now.
Okay. Follow me on Twitter at RKAthletics1. Instagram, you can follow my wrestling account, RK_wrestling. That's where you'll see my badass promos, best in the province, for sure. Screw you, Jude Dawkins. Then you can also find me at RKAthletics1 on Instagram as well for fitness advice, tips, and all that other fun shit. You can check the bio. You can find all the links to like my Facebook. You can find my YouTube, find my website, newsletter, the whole 9 yards. My pro wrestling tees just booted up as well. So now you can buy Rich King merch no matter where you're at, whether you're at a show or whether you're online. But yeah, Facebook, you can find me Rich King Wrestling or RK Athletics. Those are the best ones.
Perfect. And Mike the ref brings
don't
up.
Try to message me seeing my dick. That's there's too much of that going on.
I guess Mike's been in those DMs again then, hey. I was going to say a good thing from Mike here. A reminder that there is a 20% sale going off on PWT for Pro Wrestling Tees tomorrow as well. So a great time to get a new Rich King shirt. Perfect. Well, dude, thank you so much for joining me here today, buddy. This was seriously a really fun chat. Super easy, and I can't wait to do it again. I'm sure we're going to have a chance to do it here again sooner than later.
Yeah, man, you should have No Toes Samson on this podcast sometime.
No Toes Samson? Absolutely. I'm always looking for new people. I know next week we've got Jay Walker here, and then after that, we're always looking for maybe the next person for the week after. So there you go.
No Toes, man.
Perfect. Thank you for the suggestion. All right. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Was there anything else you would like to say before we let you go?
Follow along, everybody. Recognize greatness and bow down to the king, baby.
I'm so jealous. I can't do that right now. I'm just going to keep my sweater on. All right. Thank you, buddy.
Wait, select few can.
A big thank you once again to Rich King for joining me here today to talk about his life in wrestling, what he wants to do, his side business, and literally everything else. Also getting those great tips when it comes to eating healthy and stuff. That's why RK Athletics is there for you. So if you guys want, remember to contact RK Athletics because they're always looking to help people. He's a great guy, by the way. Absolutely great guy. I just love speaking with him. He's always going to be welcome back here whenever he wants. But a big thank you here today. We're going to give another shout out to the rest of our sponsors. Of course, Backbreaker Media. We have the Wrestling Rodeo, as well as the Canadian Wrestling Archive, who, of course, without we wouldn't be here today, providing all this amazing Canadian content with all of you. So, yeah. Anyways, that does it for me today. We'll see you hopefully tonight over on twitch.tv/Jupiter Vision. Don't forget to check out the socials for who's going to be coming up next week, as we have a nice little calendar there for you. Have yourself a wonderful day. And, yeah. Keep on Canadian wrestling.